There are at least 3 ways to build most EDH decks. Strong, strong, strong. Fun, 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 fun. And mean. Mean. Let's look at the strong, fun, and mean ways that I would build Otrimi, the Ever-Playful, and the video starts right now. Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below. Hello and welcome to the day. Thank you for spending your time with us. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. I am Joel. We're going to talk about Otrimi and the 3 ways that I would build it in Commander. But first, if you liked the video by the end of it, consider hitting like and subscribe. It lets me know you want to see more videos like this. Let's jump over into Otrimi. Otrimi the Ever-Playful is one of our new commanders from Commander 2020, but it's very focused on a new mechanic, and that's Mutate, a new mechanic from Ikoria. Otrimi the Ever-Playful is a 6/6 for 6 in Sultai colors with Trample that says whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, return target creature card with Mutate from your graveyard to your hand. Now the Mutate cost on this is only Sultai +1, so for 4 mana, you're going to get Power 6 and Toughness 6 and Trample, plus a Mutate ability that can pay off if you build the deck correctly. Let's talk about the strong, fun, and mean ways that I would build Otrimi. Strong being unblockable Voltron Aura, fun being Ikoria Morph Tribal, and mean being ramp-infect. Let's jump into it. I like Aether Figment in this deck because it represents a very early unblockable creature. If we can get a Figment onto the battlefield on turn 2, we're ready to mutate Otrimi onto this Figment on turn 4. It's unblockable, and it also gives us a little bit of value if we do draw it later in the game. Now that little bit of value is a 3/3 that's unblockable, but we still get a little bit of versatility. It having a kicker, it's not just always going to be a 2-drop 1/1 that we draw. Aetherling, however, is much more suited for EDH. We've got a 6-cost 4/5 here, pays 1 to exile it and return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step, so we get to dodge removal with it. Aetherling is unblockable for 1 blue, and we get the abilities to pay 1, make it +1/-1, or make it -1/+1, whatever the situation calls for. We get Aetherling out on the battlefield, we mutate Otrimi on top, and we are just off to the races. Amphin Pathmage is a wizard. Now, this one's great because it can make whoever Otrimi has mutated onto unblockable. It doesn't have to be mutated onto this creature, so we can kind of spread the risk around, spread the threat, I should say, around, so that Otrimi's probably going to grab be the target of the removal, but Amphin Pathmage at least can spread the threat around a little bit, so we're not completely hosed by one targeted removal. Cephalid Inkshrouder. This is a great target for Otrimi to be on top of because discarding a card from your hand can't be the target of spells or abilities and is unblockable this turn. We're going to avoid removal and be unblockable. I think this is one of my favorite creatures that Otrimi can mutate on top of, and we're off to the Voltron race. We're going to take him down with commander damage. Look at this one. 7, 8, 9, 10 for a 6/6, unblockable. It's got Suspend 9 for 3 mana though, and whenever an opponent plays a spell, which in Commander that should be happening a lot, if it's suspended, remove a time counter from it. This is so dope. We're going to get the unblockable. We're going to pay it for cheap, 3. We can just pay it, put it off to the side, and we got an unblockable target coming back because we know that our commander is going to eat spot removal as much as our opponents can come up with, especially if we're going after their life total. Now, in a build like this, in a Voltron build, you want to have some specific types of cards built into it, and Umbras are a big part of that. Here's a 5-cost enchant aura, gives them 3/3 and flying, so that'll go on top of whatever else we got, but it gives totem armor so that whenever it would be destroyed, we instead destroy this aura and Otrimi survives. If you've played Voltron before, you've probably used cards like this. You should be using cards like this in a Voltron strategy whenever you can find them in your colors. Bear Umbra, I love this one because whenever this creature attacks, untap all lands you control, gives us totem armor. The 2/2 is fine, we'll take it. That's not why we're playing this. We're playing this whenever this creature attacks, untap all lands you control. That's huge, so we can stay open with some instant speed spells, protect our Otrimi, deal with our opponent's stuff, things like that. Ring of Evocile, this is just another suggestion of a Voltron, a good Voltron card that you can run. It's not, I would say, at the top 10 list of best Voltron cards, but Ring of Evocile is going to give a creature hexproof for 2 mana, until end of turn, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if it's the equipped creature is a blue creature, we get to start putting +1/+1 counters on it. Plus, it's cheap for 2 and it equips cheap for 1. So Otrimi is blue, so we're going to get +1/+1 counters put on top of it and just keep growing that Voltron. And it's going to give our stuff hexproof so that it can't be targeted down. Prognostic Sphinx, here's another one. Protect this creature. Otrimi, when it mutates, we get all the abilities of the stuff under it. So this is going to give our Otrimi flying, which is huge, and the ability to discard a card and have it gain hexproof until end of turn. Now, you do have to tap it when that happens, but let's just be attacking with our Voltron commander, probably, right? That's probably the best strategy. Whenever it attacks, we get to scry 3, so that's a nice little added bonus from the Prognostic Sphinx being mutated on top of. And here we go. This is a Swiftfoot Boots. If you've never played this card, you must be new to Commander, and that's cool because I want to show you a very dope card that has been printed into the dirt and included in like all of the Commander precons. Swiftfoot Boots. Pay 2 for an artifact that has equip 1 and equipped creature has hexproof and haste. Boom. That's all you need it for. It's cheap. It gets us around spot removal. That's exactly what we want to be doing. Here's another great equipment. It has non-basic land walk. You know how many of your opponents are going to be playing non-basic lands? Pretty much all of them, even the ones that are playing mono color. I have a mono black deck. It's my most played commander deck. Okay, it's my favorite one. But I still run Cabal Coffers and a ton of non-basic lands in there that have intrinsic value and effects. This is going to give our Voltron commander unblockable, essentially, so that we can take down their life total and commander damage them out. Let's talk about the fun way that I would build Otrimi the Ever-Playful, and that is Ikoria Mutate Tribal. This is very clearly a commander that was conceived around the time Ikoria block came out because we have a signature ability in Mutate. Here is a bird that can mutate itself and we can mutate on top of. The best part about this version of the deck is not just the thematic leaning of the Ikoria thing, but also every time Otrimi deals combat damage, we get to return one of these mutate creatures to our hand, so we're just going to get more and more value. Souvenir Snatcher is a 4/4 for 5 that flies, and whenever it mutates, we get to gain control of target non-creature artifact. That is huge. Huge in EDH. Pay 6 to mutate, give something flying, and have control of target non-creature artifact. Go get their best equipment. Go get their best mana rock. Whatever, and if we can stack multiple abilities of mutate, we're going to get, and if we can stack multiple creatures with mutate, we're going to get multiple triggers. Everything that says when this creature mutates is going to trigger every single time we put a new creature on top of it. Auspicious Starix, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is a 5-cost 6/6 that says whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile X permanent cards, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. Put those permanents onto the battlefield. This is so dope. Free cards, I'll always take free cards. It mutates for 6, but if something mutates on top of it, that ability triggers again, just like with all of the mutate creatures. Here's another one. You're mostly going to see my favorite mutate creatures, commons, uncommons, and rares for EDH in this list, because that's pretty much what you want to stuff this deck full of. Boneyard Lurker, 4/4 for 4. Whenever it mutates, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Eternal Witness anybody, plus it's 4 cost to mutate. That's very cheap to possibly add 4/4 on to become the power toughness of your creature. Sorry, mutate is a little confusing sometimes. And 4 cost to return something and have it trigger if we can mutate onto the same creature. Chittering Harvester is a 4/6 for 6, but that mutate is only 5. And it says whenever this creature mutates, each opponent sacrifices a creature. That will be huge in EDH. Having each opponent trigger that, you know, it's not going to hit the tokens player as hard, but it's going to hit the other Voltron player. It's going to hit the player that only has one creature on the battlefield very hard. Dirgebat. Here's a flying 3/3 for 4 that flashes as well. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. I love this. We can give something flying at instant speed for 6. We can flash Dirgebat in if we want to at EOT. I'm telling you, this is a very versatile rare here, because for 6 mana, we're getting flash, we're getting flying, and we're getting to destroy a creature or planeswalker. an opponent controls. That or Planeswalker makes it even stronger, but just destroying a creature straight up and leaving a creature behind for us is huge. Dreamtail Heron is going to give us flying if we mutate it on top of anything, and when it mutates, straight up draw a card. If we can get this stack of creatures going that are mutating on top of each other, every single time we put a mutate creature down, every other mutate ability under that stack is going to trigger. Archipelago, this one's so cool to me. It's a 7/7 for 7 Leviathan. Mutate for 6, so we can put that 7/7 power on top of Otrimi, which is good to note. It's a bigger power toughness, and they always take the top. The mutate stack takes the top power toughness. Whenever this creature mutates, tap up to X target creatures, where X is the number of times this creature's mutated. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. So, if we can get a big stack going, we can just tap a bunch of creatures down and like Frost links them down, Frost tighten them down, and not have to worry about them. This one's Mysterious Egg. I like this one being the bottom of a mutate pile because you're going to get +1/+1 counters on top of everything. It's kind of a womp if you draw it late, but for the thematic side of this is such a cool card, especially if you have it in your opening hand. You can get it going real early. Otrimi drops on it on turn 4. We're going to get a +1/+1 counter on it. It doesn't need haste, so it can attack right out of the mutate. I love this mutate ability. It's very interesting. Trumpeting Gnar is one 3/3 for 3 that whenever it mutates, create a 3/3 beast token. So again, we're just going for a value stack here. We're going for a value stack. We want to put hexproof on it somehow. Obviously, get your Swiftfoot boots attached. But every single time we mutate, drawing a card, destroying a creature or planeswalker, stealing a non-creature artifact, it's just tapping things down and they can't untap. It just sounds like a lot of fun to me. This is one of the stronger ones. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I would recommend running this in the deck, period. This is huge for Otrimi, especially if you look back at our strong build with unblockable. We're going to be drawing cards, keeping our hands full. We can flash this in for 2, so it can mutate on top of something for just 2 mana and draw us a card when it deals combat damage. I'm a big fan of this one. And here's Big Daddy Mutate. Brokos Apex of Forever. We got our colors there. It mutates for 5, and we can mutate it from the graveyard. So we're always going to have access to that trample ability. That is the fun way that I would build Otrimi. Let's look at the last way that I would build Otrimi, and that is ramp-infect. So there's not a ton to say about this mean strategy, except that I think it's very, very mean. There are 23 creatures that are commander legal that have infect and are 3 or less converted mana cost. That means that there are 23 options for you to run in your deck so that there is going to be an infect creature for Otrimi to mutate onto on turn 4 and be swinging right away. Remember, when it mutates onto a creature that was already there, it doesn't need haste. It just starts swinging right out of the gate, even though it's suddenly a 6/6 with infect. Let's go through some of my favorites. Glistener Elf. This is I think the OG. This is the infect card. This is the modern infect card. This is how you do it right here. Play the elf on turn 1. Turn 2, 3, do something, maybe ramp a little bit, use some of your, Sakura Tribe Elder, use your rampant growth, go get some lands, get Otrimi out on turn 3 or 4, and you're off to the infect races. It's a little ridiculous. Vector Asp. This is another 1-drop that can gain infect for 1 black mana. Not preferable, but still very good. Okay, you're looking for these 1-drops so that you can get to it right away. Blighted Agent. Now, you need to note, this is a human, so we can't mutate on top of Blighted Agent, but an unblockable infect, if we've got some other pump spells like we need to be running in our infect deck, you need to run this card. I put this in here specifically to say you need to run this card even though you can't mutate on top of it. It should be one of the creatures you choose for your infect deck because get an equipment on it, get a pump spell going on it. This is going to be a card that helps you close out the game. Blight Mamba is going to give us the ability to regenerate Otrimi mutated on top of this, and it has infect, so survivability, plus we're on theme. Phyrexian Crusader, first strike, pro-red, pro-white, and infect. Word soup much? How about a bunch of keywords on here, a bunch of protections, so that we might be able to swing through for free. Plus, if anything blocks us, we've got infect, first strike, with a 6/6. If you're bigger than us, we're going to... It's ridiculous. We're going to first strike with infect. Your power and your toughness is going to go immediately down, and then we're going to kill you. This is what I would look for with 3 CMCs. Look for keywords. It keeps all the abilities of all of the creatures above or below it. And obviously with this strategy, we're going to be playing Otrimi on top so that we get that 6/6 power and toughness, and we're just infect. Those are the 3 ways that I would build Otrimi the Ever-Playful. It's kind of an innocuous commander. At first glance, you're like, well, it's a set commander. It looks like it needs a lot of the keywords. It needs a lot of help from the theme and all that kind of stuff. But there are some ways to play it where you don't even have to lean into the Ikoria theme. And as you saw, there are some very playable commander cards that also have mutate and can be a valuable part of your deck. If there's a commander that you want me to build 3 ways, leave that in the comments below there and I'll try and get to it. I've got a lot of requests. Otrimi was a request from a comments section, but I am super excited to make this series for you. Hit like, hit subscribe. We've got a Patreon, we've got a Twitch. You know all the memes. We'll catch you later.